Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again it is Sunday, and that means it's time for the Texas Gun Vault Poll Question of the Week, a weekly vlog that I put out where I ask you as my viewers and subscribers about something that deals with guns, gun culture, current events, politics, news, or maybe something fun like EDC that I want to get your thoughts and opinions on. And yes, I am in a different location this week than I normally am. However, it does fit the theme. But the reason I'm actually here is because it is really hot here in the summers in Texas. And right now I think outside it is 103 or 104 degrees. So being in my garage filming this video is just too uncomfortable. So here I am in the Texas Gun Vault Armory, or the vault itself. Anyway, I'm in front of one of my gun safes, but it does help me with today's video, which is about something I get criticized a lot in my videos. People ask me, have you shot that gun? Do you shoot that gun? And it doesn't matter if it's a more affordable gun or something that's really valuable in my collection. And sometimes people are surprised when I say, no, I haven't shot it. Sometimes I just haven't gotten around to it, even though I've owned the gun for quite a long time. And sometimes a gun, to me, is just a collector's piece. It's extremely valuable. It's extremely rare. I enjoy owning it. I enjoy getting it out of the safe and fondling it. People jokingly say when I say I want to fondle my guns. But yeah, I get it out of the safe, I look at it. I'm interested mechanically in these guns. I'm interested in their history. And people go, I can't believe you own that, and don't shoot it. Well, as I always say, we can pew-pew lifestyle the way that you want to do. We can all do it differently. I'm a collector. I fully admit it. Yeah, I go shooting. You guys see all the footage that I shoot. But I know that some of you are competitive shooters. Some of you are hunters. Some of you are the tacticians, the guys that like to go out in the dirt, run around, take the classes, do push-ups with your AK in a tree, and that is perfectly fine. We're all here because we love guns. So it doesn't matter if you're into a different aspect of the firearms industry or the culture than I am. We're all doing this because we love the Second Amendment, we love our freedoms, and we just love firearms. I think we should support each other. But I'm always dismayed when people say, I'm not a really good gun guy. I'm the wrong kind of gun owner. I'm a collector. I like to buy expensive guns and then leave them in the safe. Well, I was curious, how many of you guys are like me? Maybe you're kind of like me, or maybe you're the polar opposite, and that's what I'm asking you with this week's question. So with that in mind, let's dive right into this week's poll question. This week's question is for all of my viewers, subscribers who are collectors. One of my interests in the firearms world is collecting and appreciating higher-end tactical or mechanically interesting firearms. To this end, there are a few guns in my collection I do not or have never shot. Sometimes my viewers will even make fun of me because of it. This got me wondering how alone I am in my thinking. As a gun owner, do you have any firearms you do not shoot, and for what reasons? If you have guns you do not shoot, tell me what they are in the comments below and why. Now I can tell you as a collector and somebody that has quite a few guns, there are a lot of guns in this safe and the other safes that I have that I don't shoot. But it's for a number of different reasons. And so I tried to figure out myself, why don't I shoot that gun? Why haven't I shot that gun? And try to make this poll and try to give you guys as many options as possible that I think would be the most relevant. So, with that said, let's see what you guys had to say with this week's results. With 931 votes this week as I'm filming this video, we have I shoot every gun I own regardless of rarity, value, or nostalgia, 56%. The only guns I do not shoot are due to their age or condition, 21%. The only guns I do not shoot are rarest or most valuable, 12%. The guns I do not shoot are for nostalgia reasons, i.e. family guns, 7%. And something else, explain in the comments, 5%. And this week's results were actually on par with what I was expecting. I know that most people are not the dorks and the geeks that I am. I know I'm a complete nerd and I fully embrace it. It's okay, you guys can make fun of me. But I knew that most of you guys shoot every gun that you own. And even though I'm a little bit different, I can appreciate it. You know, one of the things that I have to say to the people that make fun of me is, you know, when I don't shoot a gun and it just sits here in the safe, well, what's it doing? Nothing. It's going to be passed on to the next generation. Obviously, I take care of my collection. So people will still be able to enjoy these firearms many years in the future. I know that there's guns behind me in this safe that were bought back in the 1980s. I have no idea how many people own them. I'm not even sure if the people that originally bought them are even still alive. And that just goes to show the durability of firearms, and something that many anti-gunners don't understand. That just because you ban something from sale doesn't mean they're going to go away. But that's another discussion for another day. But if I don't shoot my guns and you think I should and I'm not getting the full enjoyment out of them, well, one day somebody probably will. The guns that I might show you today that I don't shoot, well, who knows, in 25, 30, or 50 years from now, somebody's going to be making a video with these guns, not even knowing that they were mine, and shooting the heck out of them and enjoying them. At least I'm able to pass that on to the next generation, or the people that are going to come after me. But while these guns sit in my safe, for whatever reason I don't shoot them, I still enjoy them. You know, the analogy I like to use when it comes to gun collecting is snow globes. You've all heard about those crazy people, and I'm using crazy in a very nice way, that collect snow globes. They have rooms full of them. Well, do they go through those rooms every day and shake up every snow globe? Well, probably not. Some of those snow globes may never get shaken up at all. But just having that snow globe there as part of their collection just brings them fulfillment. They can look at it and remember when they bought it, or what it represented, or even the people that they bought it from, or the people that gave it to them. And just having them there, having those memories, is what is important. And there are guns in the safe that fulfilled that role for me. I get enjoyment from firearms that I don't shoot. I can pull them out of the safe. I can go watch a video on the guns. I can go watch other people shoot them, and I can look at it and go, wow, this is a piece of history. Look at the mechanics and all the intricacies that go into the fabrication of this amazing firearm. I appreciate it, and then I put it back in the safe. That's how I get my enjoyment from some of these guns, and it is okay if you disagree. But let's go through each one of these, and I'll give you guys my opinions. I shoot every gun I own regardless of rarity, value, or nostalgia. Well, as I said, we're only here on Earth for a short period of time, so of course, get as much enjoyment as you can. If you get a chance to shoot a really rare gun from World War I or World War II, and I've had that opportunity with a World War I Luger, well, go and do it. You only live once. Enjoy it. That is totally cool. My only issue that I have with people like this is, what if you shoot a very rare gun and you break it? Well, can you find parts for it? Well, now this $5,000 or $6,000 gun that maybe somebody in your family is looking forward to inheriting now becomes a very large paperweight, because no one's made a firing pin for this particular gun in 100 years. What are you going to do now? What if you break the grips? Well, yeah, you got to enjoy it, but now the value of that gun is greatly diminished, and people aren't going to appreciate it for what it is. But that's my only concern. But I understand, if you own a gun, you've worked hard for your money, you bought this gun, go out and enjoy it. The only thing I ask is, if you're one of these people, don't look down on people that don't do the same thing that you do. As I mentioned, we're all in this together. And guess what? I'm not going to be here forever. One day, I'm going to be gone. And the people that get these great firearms after me may enjoy them. So people are still going to enjoy them, whether it's me just looking at them in the safe, or somebody in the future getting to fire them and enjoy them. They still brought happiness and joy to people. Then we have, the only guns I do not shoot are due to their age or condition. Now, I was going to get some of the guns that are here in the room on the wall down, because they are, I'm not going to say family heirloom guns, but they are guns that were owned by my great grandfather. And these guns go back to the 1920s or the 1930s, and they are not in fireable condition. The wood stocks are broken, the barrels are completely rusted, maybe the triggers don't even work. One is a single-barreled shotgun. It's really just a wall decoration. It's a wall hanger. Now, the value of this gun on the open market is probably $5. It's just worth the scrap metal that it is made of. But to me, it is much more valuable than that because it was owned by my great-grandfather. He used it on his farm, and it's one of the first guns that my dad ever shot when he was a little kid. So it's very special. It's non-functional, and I'm not even going to try to load any modern ammunition in it because it's just too dangerous. And I know that some of us own guns like that. And it looks like for the purposes of this poll, the most people that don't shoot certain guns, it is for this reason. Now, these guns will hopefully be in my family for centuries. They'll be able to look back and go, wow, his great-great-great-great-grandfather owned this. It's not workable. It's a cool wall decoration and has a cool story, but they're not going to sell it even though it's worthless when it comes to its value. Then we have the only guns I do not shoot are the rarest or most valuable. Now for me, this is actually the majority of the guns in my collection that I don't shoot. And I'm going to pull out a couple here. We're going to start off with a really cool one. This is a Steyr GB pistol. Now this is really, by some people's standards, the first gun Glock ever beat in the Austrian military trials. Now I know the light in here is not as good as it is in the garage, but some of you may have seen this. This is actually a gas-delayed blowback pistol, and Steyr has not made this since the mid-1980s. The magazines for this are a double-feed 9mm magazine and hold 18 rounds. These magazines alone are anywhere between $250 and $350 if you can find them. And this particular gun is a rare version of the Steyr GB because it was a military contract, because it has a different type of coating. Most of them had like this rhino lining coating. This is more of a Parkerized finish, and very few, I think only 1,000 were ever made with this finish. So because the rarity of parts of this gun, the magazines are so expensive, I just don't want to shoot it. It's a very mechanically interesting gun to me. So I don't want to hurt it. I don't want to shoot it. I want to appreciate it for its history and what it is. And I'm sure glad I have it in my collection, but I don't really want to shoot it. And hopefully some of you understand why, because if anything breaks on this gun, I mean anything, and some of this is even made of polymer like the trigger guard, if any of this breaks or cracks, I cannot replace it. I cannot get it fixed, and the gun loses a lot of its value. Another gun in here, which might be one of the most expensive in my collection, which people ask me all the time, do you shoot? And the answer is no. Here is an HK P7 M13. Yeah, this is a pretty expensive gun, and even when I bought this gun, it was expensive, and it has only gone up by about another $1,500 in the past few years. So this is a double stack version of the HK P7. This gun is unfired. When I bought it from the person, he said, or claims, he was the second owner. And the person that bought this was in the military, I believe in the Air Force, he said, way back in the 1980s, bought it and just put it in his safe. So as far as I know, this gun is unfired. It's extremely valuable. It's extremely rare, and probably is the most expensive pistol that I own. Well, I don't want to fire it because it's just so cool and so neat. So what did I do to circumvent this problem? Well, I bought another P7 that I could shoot. So let me show you what that is. So if I want to get my P7 fix, I can always pull out just my basic P7. Now this was a police contract gun in Germany, and once again, as I said, I'm sorry about the light in here being not as good, but this is a single stack PSP version. So this was used by, I believe, the Lower Saxony police. It's all marked on the side of the slide. And so if I do want to shoot a P7 and not shoot my M8 or my M13, I can take this one out. So I will buy duplicates of guns that I can shoot. So as you can see, I have a few firearms that I don't shoot because of collectability or rarity, and there are a lot of guns in the safe that meet that definition. Then we have The guns I do not shoot are for nostalgia reasons, i.e. family guns, and I have one in this safe that maybe I've shown you in the past. But this is a Charter Arms Undercover, and this is a Generation 1 from the 1960s. So this is a very early Charter Arms when the gentleman who started the company left Colt and began production of affordable revolvers in Connecticut. Now, this gun was my father's, and it was my grandfather's before him. And I believe I've dated this gun to about 1965 or 1964. It's not that high quality of a .38 special revolver, especially as compared to the revolvers made today. The tolerances are a little bit loose. It's actually in pretty darn good condition. Let me see if I can get that on camera, maybe a little bit better for you. It's really nice. It's not a very accurate gun for me, doesn't shoot very well, but because it was my father's, and I remember seeing this gun when I was a kid, it might be the first real firearm I ever laid eyes on. And because of that, it means a lot to me, and I don't want to shoot it. Number one, I don't want to break it. I don't want to damage this gun. This gun is very special to me. I have other .38 special revolvers, and I have a snub-nosed .38. So why do I need to shoot this one? It just means too much to me. And I know a lot of you probably have guns that are very similar to this. So this for me is a nostalgic gun. It is operational, it is functional. I do know my dad has shot it in the past 10 years and used modern ammunition. So we have no problems with it. I know it is functional, everything on the gun works, and I can probably find parts for it. But I just don't want to shoot it, because I don't want to change anything about it. I don't want to break it. And maybe some of you might think that's a little bit silly, but that's how I run my gun collection. And then finally, we have something else explained in the comments, and I think most of the people that commented and might have voted for this particular one had saying, I have a pretty big collection. I shoot everything with the exception of one thing, maybe because it's part of a build or it's not complete yet. And so some of the guns were just simply in parts bin. And so I was able to see a few comments like that. But speaking of comments, let's dive right into this week's top rated comments and see what you guys had to say. And with our top rated comment of the week, we have Lars Pasic, who says, over the years, my perspective has shifted. I used to just want to have things, but as you say, buy a real nice HK and never shoot it. But now my perspective is that it would be a greater tragedy to spend so much money on something only for me to never get any usage, joy, excitement, experience, learning, stories, photos, etc. from the object. It's worse to have something and never use it than it would be to just not have the object. And you know, I completely get it. And that's kind of from the perspective of you only live once. You're only on this earth for a short period of time, and I totally get it. But I also want to put it from the perspective of being selfless. Let's think about it from a future generation's perspective. Let's just say we have all these awesome collectible P7s and we shoot the heck out of them. Well, they're no longer in production, and eventually nobody has one. Or the very few that are in existence might be in museums, and they never get the joy of even handling one because they're so rare. I also put it in the perspective of assault weapons bans. Now, hopefully most of those will be overturned because of the recent Supreme Court case, but you never know. The whole idea of the Hughes Amendment when it came to the Firearm Owners Protection Act was to stop machine guns, and as machine guns were no longer transferable to people, they're going to shoot them, wear them out, and they go away. So then as generations go on, they don't exist anymore. And because people shot them to death, they're gone. And those future generations are going to go, man, I sure wish some people would have preserved them. So in some ways, I look at myself as preserving firearms as well, so those future generations can enjoy them and study them as well. Then we have Charles Ism, who says, I do have favorites that I shoot more, including my carry that I train with regularly, but we have some that are more conversation pieces that we only shoot every once in a while, usually due to the fact that they shot non-readily available ammo. 221 Fireball, for example. Also, it depends on how I'm feeling that day. And he brought up another great point that I didn't add in the poll, and that's ammo availability. You know, if you have some of these really collectible firearms, especially the ones from the far distant past, well, where are you going to get 44 Russian, for example? Yes, you can load it. Yes, you can find it. But it's not like you're going down to your local gun store and just picking some up. So maybe you want to shoot this collectible firearm, but you can't because you can't find 44 Henry or some weird caliber that hasn't been made and manufactured by a major ammunition company for some time. So excellent, excellent point. Then we have Claire Ravenwood, who said, I could shoot all of mine, but I have my favorites, and I think of where some could have been and of the men who use them. The only one I do not shoot is my original third pattern Brown Bess, accepted into service and stamped with the storekeeper's mark and the date 1800. I am certain it is capable of firing, but I feel it has earned a well-deserved retirement from active service. I wonder if it could have been present at any of the War of 1812 battles or up against Napoleon's soldiers. Well, that is really cool. And so that's a very, very historic firearm, something that could never be replaced. So I can completely understand having that one gun that you don't shoot. And just looking at a gun because it is a piece of history, you're able to touch this gun that was touched by somebody long, long ago and used in a battle that changed the course of human history. And you can't duplicate that. You can't buy that. And if you shoot these guns and destroy them, well, that's lost forever. Then we have my good friend Brian Edgett, who says, I've been trying to collect military service guns, but from different time periods. My infield is not shot a lot because the ammunition is not as easy to find as it was. So for me, it is how hard it is to find the ammunition. Or all of my Sig Sauer collection, a mix of German and New Hampshire guns, are in it. So once again, we have another comment about ammunition. And as I said, I didn't think about that when I made the poll, but that's why I love making these polls, because you guys think about things that I don't think about. But also, YouTube only allows me to have 5 options. I really wish they gave us 10, double that amount, because sometimes I'm doing these polls and like, it's just not enough. And so that's another great reason why I love this interaction. You guys think outside the box, and I like this group think because you guys bring up stuff that I didn't think of. And then we finally have Lazor222, who says, I have a double barrel that was my grandpa's by the way of my father, and I suppose either it was his father's as well, or he got it used, because as far as I can tell, it was made sometime between 1900 and 1910. Its only markings are Andrew Freiberg and Sons, Hopkinson, Massachusetts. Not sure it could even take a modern shell. That's the one I don't shoot. And once again, more of a nostalgia gun or a family gun. And those are the ones that got the most votes outside of the people that said, I shoot everything. And as I mentioned, I can appreciate all these results. You need to pew pew lifestyle the way you want to pew pew lifestyle. If you don't want to shoot any guns at all, don't shoot any guns. If you want to buy an expensive gun that is rare and one of a kind, well, it is your property. If you want to go out in a field and dump thousands upon thousands of rounds through it and torture test it, well, I might look at that and go, that's kind of sad because that gun is so rare, but it is your property and I do respect it. The only thing that I hope is going forward, you guys look at other people in our community and our gun culture and respect them for the way that they want to do things. If they're a collector, don't berate them, don't belittle them, don't look down upon them and go, you're doing it wrong. And for people like myself, as I said, I respect everyone else. I don't think anybody that collects guns and then sees other people with collectible guns and goes, why are you shooting? Well, it is their property. It's their hard work. It's their intellectual labor that allowed them to buy that gun. So we should not interfere. So there you go. It looks like I'm in the minority, but not by much. And many of you share the same concerns for shooting some guns that I do. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you didn't get a chance to respond in this poll, let me know what other cool guns you own that you may not shoot. And as always, if you want to participate in next week's poll, please go to the community tab of my YouTube channel. I will also put a link in the description. Go over there and see what next week's poll is about. Vote, comment, and like other people's comments so we can get the top rated comments of the week. So once again, thank you as always for participating. I love these interactions. And as always, thanks for watching.